That's right, it's the final, because I have gotten a successful run off-screen, so even if I'm not successful in this run, I can just switch over to some post-commentary to round out the series. And it did ultimately come down to a lot of what I thought that I was missing. Stuff like getting all the meta upgrades, of course, makes a huge difference. The only one I'm missing right now is the second level of Ancient Alchemy, which, while that would be a lot of extra gold, is not nearly as important as, say, the Death Defiance. And, of course, just understanding the game a lot better. I've gotten a lot of good tips and tricks to getting the most out of my builds in this game, and just basic things like making sure that I'm upgrading each one of the skulls, focusing on getting materials for that, as well as really paying attention to what each of the items do. Because, oh sure, creates an explosion that deals physical damage is not that useful. It's like getting some of the secondary skills you get can just up your can just double your damage output, or potentially just always crit on enemies less than half health. All that sort of stuff can be extremely powerful depending on what you're building for. Also, one of the things that has really made a difference was just saying not to underestimate any individual skull. Because, for example, when I first saw how power skulls worked, stuff like, hey, it's got a very minimal amount of it's got a very minimal amount of dashes. You only get one dash, and it is an attack, and generally very slow attacks too. Didn't seem very impressive to start with. However, then I ended up using them a little bit more, especially this guy, the shield skeleton, and realized that by endgame they get just an enormous amount of damage reduction, extra health. And the shield skeleton in particular, it's every single time you swap to him, you get temporary health. And at the legendary version, once you have it fully upgraded, every single one of the skills gives you a ton of temporary health on top of that. Meaning that it's you don't even need to worry about running into huge groups of enemies and just blowing all your skills and using all the swaps as much as you possibly can, because, well, you just have so much health to be able to tank that. Yeah, it's I'll say this. Skul ultimately is a lot more of a build-based game than I thought it was going to be. Because it's I was thinking that, I really wanted to be using a lot of stuff like the speed skulls, for example, because that gives you a lot of dodging ability as well as fast attacks and everything like that. But I really want to just sell it for the memes again. Let's use it. We got the final, baby. Let's do it. Oh, it starts out with the frantic sword, of course. Well, let's take a look. I will try to fully upgrade this guy just for endgame. Phaser, of course. Great sword. It's you shouldn't have both a frantic sword and a great sword. You should be using something like a good secondary item, something to freeze enemies, or get marks on there, or just I don't know, get some sort of synergy rather than that. Rebirth throws daggers and multiple damage. Is it? So when you swap, is it is it Knife Storm, Knife Dance? Yeah, it is. Does bleed too. And okay, you can see all of the many references here. Yeah, you don't automatically attack when you're using phaser in that. That's about right. The big overhead swing. Not usually, I don't know, when I think of the broadsword, I think, oh, and you get cells. Yeah, how does the cells thing work? You get a random scroll. Okay, yeah. And this is in fact a speed character. Good. That makes a lot of sense considering the style. Oh my god, it even does the. Okay. Well, this is a good way to round out the series, eh? I'll also try and get this definitely fully upgraded, because I am very much interested in seeing what we got for the legendary version of this skull, needless to say. All right. Yeah. Let's see how the phaser works here. I do like seeing that, yeah, the basic sword, the basic weapon is the frantic sword. That makes sense. I would have probably had it something like the symmetrical lance, but what are you gonna do? Oh man, it is. Also, yep. Okay, so I'm noticing that. Oh, didn't do that. I'm noticing right now that Oh man, an all-up upgrade? Huh. Yeah, there's so many things going on right now. Increase the attack speed? Yeah, sure. The downwards attack is the downward slam that I can't even remember the name of. Dive attack. Oh man, just getting this right at the last second here is just mind flooding me something fierce. Well, anyway, all right. Needless to say, I didn't think I was going to be going for more of a speed build because I wanted to look for, maybe try out finally getting some balanced skulls. I haven't really used too much of those guys, but hey, when you got the opportunity, am I right? When you got the opportunity. Extra health, very nice. Yeah, does it say tactics is increases skill, physical brutality is survival is reduced damage. All right, a lot of good stuff. And needless to say, I'm sure that it's only going to be getting better when I get to the final level of whatever this is. Upgrading these skulls is so important. It makes the various abilities just endlessly more powerful. Give me them cells. Now, of course, you don't actually get cells by just purely attacking. That's not usually a thing, but whatever. What else we got? Take a second. Magic damage. None of this really does. Yeah. Rebirth is definitely... I mean, I guess you could count that as tactics damage because those also scale with... Or magic damage because those also scale with tactics. I don't know if I would really say that. Anyway, let's just get going here. No homunculus rune. Maybe that's one of the skills that I could have gotten that I didn't roll into. Needless to say, if I get the chance, I will indeed try to... There we are. Needless to say, if I get the chance, I will try to re-roll some of these skills to see what happens to show up. Because I am interested in what some of the other ones are. I know in one of the previous episodes where I got 2 of the prisoner skulls, that I did get to one of the things was... trying to even think. The... Heavy grenade. So, and that was like magic damage for some reason. Again, not really what I would have expected. Oh my god, this has just turned into a Dead Cells episode, hasn't it? Whatever. You all knew that it was coming. I mean, look, I had no plans of ever taking this thing because... for the meme, really for the memes, but it's like, if they're gonna give it right to me at the final episode, why not? So many buffs. Ooh, what do you got? Hell yeah, dude. Take some legendary items immediately. And as you can see, it's like... I mean, eventually I should be trying to do... Like, the swapping attacks are another one of those things that are just extremely, extremely powerful. And can do just enormous burst damage when combined with the... the right things. But, at the same time, these are just instantly resetting. That's about right. Yeah, when combined with the right things. But it's like, don't quite have a secondary skull as of just yet. That would be worth... I've never really gotten too much out of the Hell Rider guy. A little bit too difficult to use. At least for right now. And Phaser is powerful, but it's usually more for a burst thing, not a multiple hit attack. I don't know, with Frantic Sword, I think you could probably make that work. You're using the Frantic Sword. You should have like half... this is just turning into Dead Cells. It's just turning into Dead Cells. Whatever. You knew... Like I said, you knew it was going to happen. All right, let's get going. I don't think I ever actually talked to this guy, did I? Yes, I saw that guy. I would like them, but only if they happen to be bone china. Is that what that's called? Porcelain and something? No, porcelain's like a... Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, just round out a little bit of the lore. There's a few things that I have yet to, like, see proper, I think. And specifically talking about, like, the various NPCs that I've kind of maybe not shown as much as I should have. What do I get for using the quintessence right now? Basic attacks inflict 7... Oh, okay, that's actually quite good. Speed skulls benefit from that a lot. There we go. I do like the werewolf, to be fair. Is it worth using as opposed to just like getting the most out of ye old Dead Cells dude? Hard to say. That said, taking damage from traps is not really my favorite, but it's fun. I mean, besides, like, getting 7 extra true damage is very, very, like, Hokuto's bow style now, isn't it? Okay. Taking way too much damage here because of the spiky floors. But that's fine. And yes, the dash is indeed a roll, because of course it is. I could end up taking that, to be honest. But I think for right now, it's like none of these things are quite good enough. I'm still like 100% focused on trying to get this thing fully upgraded, because come on, you know. And what is it going to be fully upgraded? I think I got a feeling that I know what it's going to end up turning into, but we'll see if I'm right or not. I don't know. And there we are. I mean, it feels like there's a fairly obvious sort of style of... Hey, there we go. There's a very sort of obvious build up as to what this skull in particular could eventually turn into. Sure. Fast attacks are pretty easy to apply damage over time on. I mean, I should really probably be focusing a little bit more. Normally, I think that if I have, like, decent skulls to start with, I would probably focus a little bit more on trying to instead go for... Come on, stop taking so much damage. Instead, try to focus a little bit more on getting money, you know, round out the item build more than anything else, but as it is, it's working out just fine. Shouldn't be too worried about that. All right, actually attempt to get some... I mean, the burst damage, as I said, is pretty good. Yeah. Very good style of... Man, come on. Yeah, okay, good. I did get the... I was going to say, it's just like, if I didn't get him to be knocked out of that second attack, that would have been pretty disappointing. Nice. That's the full heal. Ooh. More legendary items. One that gives me a pretty decent, yeah, like secondary attack. Magic attack. That's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, it's like Ruin and Mutant, also pretty good. And I have 2 levels of that right now. What is the other one that's giving me Mutant? Because going for, like, very, very rapid swapping would be quite good. I'll just say that right now. Get that as much as possible. Mm-hmm. It's like that is a huge amount of extra damage that I could potentially be getting out of. Whatever. A huge amount of potential damage that I could be getting out of the swapping alone, if I can get that to be very, very fast. Still, like, yeah. You want to look at potentially... oh, come on. taking so much damage here, especially after I got a very lucky full heal from the mini-boss. Oh well. Like I was saying, it's like a lot of the more recent runs have been less about focusing on dodging and more about really just getting super tank builds. And yeah, if I get a good other... If I get some form of a good other, like, speed skull, I probably will end up taking it, even if I would rather have, like, the bone shards for stuff. But like I said, kind of the big goal right now is to just purely attempt to... try and get this thing upgraded fully, more than anything else. It's only unique. There's one more level left, after all. You know what, just give me whatever the next wacky thing is. And you know what? Actually, as it turns out, getting a little bit of extra attack speed increase. And then what are you? Unique stuff. Cooldown speed. Yeah, I'll take it. Can't afford that then, though, which is too bad. I don't know. Hard to say. It's just like, you know, as it is, like, magic damage is quite powerful due to the whole, like I was saying, legendary items that I've happened to get right now. Cooldown reduction certainly going to be helpful, just judging by how powerful the whole broadsword attack is, if nothing else. Like, look at that. Makes about no problem. Not an issue at all. Yeah, just rapidly switching back and forth. These are the sort of items that make it so that making sure that you're getting the most out of swapping is actually, like, a pretty great idea. And as much as I don't want to... want those extra bone shards, man. 100 bone shards is a lot to get a full form of this thing. Oh, well, as it is, still going quite good. By the next area, certainly, I should be able to get the thing I'm looking for. No, don't get hit by that. Stupid. Oh, come on, getting stunned. I'm getting stunned so much. Oh, that was embarrassing. There we are. And then, yeah. Ridiculous. But hey, at least I always know that it's just like, yeah, just switch back and forth for just enormous. It is legendary for good reason, after all. What is the last thing that has yet to be killed? There. That's how you do it, baby. All right, get on here. I should probably be, you know, maybe going for a little... Wait, that wasn't enough? That should be. Should probably be going for, like, a little bit more focus on money, just to make sure that I have the health a little bit later on, but you know. You know how it is. If you get, like, broadsword attacks as fast as this one, it would probably be a lot better in Dead Cells, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, if I could just, like, combo the individual attacks into something as impressive as this, it's like, yeah, that would make a pretty big difference. Anyway. Let's get on with this here. I need another 40. Hey, if I find a legendary skull that I don't want, that would actually be quite... that would be enough. Would be enough. One of the other... many upgrades that I've gotten thus far. Did I even hit? Yeah, I did, at least once, so that's something. I mean, I'm just minimally one attack is sometimes all you really are looking for. But yeah, one of the many upgrades that I have gotten is the ability to... is an ability to get, like, a pretty big basic shield, even aside from just from swapping, regardless of what the actual skull type is. And I think that I get even more if it's like a balanced skull or something. Oh, come on now. Oh, that was weird. It was like because it was off screen or something. Didn't quite work. All right, come on now. Should have this, no problem. Still taking way too much damage here. Though doing this attack over and over is a little bit annoying. Oh, right over it, eh? Ah. Was that enough to kill me? I think it was. Yeah, it sure was. Dang it, that sucks. Oh, well. Like I was saying, I do think that like tankier builds work better in this game. Now, come on. Shouldn't even be that hard. It's not even the most difficult of the bosses or anything like that. Nope, that wasn't the right button. Wasn't the right button at all. There. Yeah, as you can see, swapping was actually like some of the most damage that I was getting out of that. You really don't want to underestimate it. All right, 2 or less is not something that's going to be coming up a whole lot, but I guess when it comes to fighting some of the more powerful dudes, it is. Well, let's see. In the meantime, still going to be focusing largely on Ash. Still, though, needless to say, it's like if I got a... normally you get a... Normally you get like an item as good as this one, you're not really going to be focusing nearly as much on attempting to try and really buff out your skull count. I'm just doing it this time because I really want to try and see what the ultimate level version of this is. Because I think that's going to be good for the end of the series and all that. What do we got? Alchemist. Something that I just have never really gotten to work right. Oh, for God's sake. There. 74. Come on. Getting so close. And in the meantime, it's just like, yeah, the items are also like not great in this run thus far. Come on. There. Yeesh. Making this real difficult on me, but that's okay. Ooh, and hey, as it turns out, here is the exact thing that I was looking for, trying to get the skill changing guy. What do you got? The ice crossbow. It's not called the frost crossbow. Come on now. Right, sword is the broadsword. Now, come on. Is it just holding down the button, and it is just the OG version of this, eh? All right. And then there's the grenade. That works out in the exact way that I thought it would. And phaser and bomb. Okay. Though, again, magic attack, not quite what I think that you would be looking for normally. I said certainly it's not going to be going to waste anytime soon. Yeah. Just go for the, I'll go for the big bombs, but also, go for the just ranged hits. It's gonna be a little bit better than not doing that. Wait, that wasn't enough to kill you? Oh, come on now. That was. Much like regular Dead Cells. And there we are. Yeah, you gotta be so much more cautious with these type of builds, don't you? Unfortunately, it's just like I spent all of my money re-rolling stuff. Oh man, this would be good, so good too. Well, that's too bad. It's like, needless to say, this is more of... This is not really the sort of build that is, not your traditional type of build, considering that I'm trying to go for something completely different than I normally would. Come on, just get that. There we go. Let's see, and as you can see, it's just like, yeah. So not working out quite the same way. It's working out just fine, though. Oh, come on, that wasn't enough to get him. That said, it's just like, this will be. And the bomb working out about the same way that it would in regular Dead Cells. Alright, good. At least, you know, playing a little bit more cautiously. As you can see, I'm starting to regain health just from the kind of random health drops that you normally get around here. It's like, this might be a little bit more build focused, but you do still have to pay a little bit of attention to what you're doing. You can't just go in and mindlessly attack everything, as I like to do. As it is pretty effective to do, if I do say so myself. I still don't even have full items. I guess I do now. Yeesh. Try to take you out as fast. I mean, you probably should work on getting the healer down, of course, first. I'll say right now, probably the better idea of the two. And there's 1, 2, and I'm actually coming out of this with a health plus, unless I really screw something up right now. Good. Yep, I did. Great. Good and great. Berserker also. I want both of these things, but it's just like, we all want to see this, right? We all want to see this. What? But it's only unique. It's not even legendary. That's like not usually how that works. Give me some of this then, because that's weird. I mean, legendary ones, huh? Oh well, this will be good though. Yeah, hunch, teleport, magic damage, not really my favorite type of thing, but enemies killed, getting the skills back up, sure, whatever. And if I get the right thing here, I might be able to just get this one full up anyway, too. Now, Phaser actually works very well for killing some of these enemies. Do still have to make sure that I am watching out, though, because those, like, super alchemists are kind of some of the most dangerous enemies you can get here, aside from the guys that get summoned up. There's Berserker again. Again, if I'm not able to get too far into this run, you'll be seeing a little bit more of that guy. Quite good. Yeah, just killing everything by swapping. Good stuff. Come on. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get these guys down fast enough. Nope, no way. Unless... Actually, I think I did it. Huh. Nope, I didn't. Well, I tried. My assumption, though, with trying to get the full level version of this guy was that it was going to be perhaps like a little bit of a spoiler character, if that was how it was going to go, which it didn't, clearly. There we are. Now then, Hopefully in the next rest area I can get a lot more healing. Ooh. Notice his bulge, etc. As you do. By the way, I'm just going to take a look right now. I got 3 mutant. Yeah, mutant's like really good though, right? I'm remembering right. Yeah, a lot of swapping, and as you can see, I'm getting a lot of damage out of that, so that's good for me. Feels like it sort of makes the individual character a little bit more, less interesting, I suppose, but whatever. It also works out pretty well nonetheless. Whatever gets you to the end game, I suppose, is really kind of how you gotta look at it, right? Man. Taking so much damage, and I've already used my Death Defiance just stupidly. So I will take Spiritual Coffee. Not as much damage not as much health as I was hoping for. Oh, come on! What is it, too? 80%. Okay, so this is more of a, like... so close as well. There's nothing I could possibly do to get that, though, right? No. Oh, well. That's the run that I forced myself into. It's the run that I will continue to do. It's like you live the life you have. With the cards you're dealt and all that. That's good, though. And just keep on going, baby. God, like I said, the swapping is just so intense right now, and it's just pure damage alone. And I can do it so quickly, too. It's kind of amazing. That's the sort of thing that's going to carry me to endgame, if nothing else. Though we'll see. Exploding enemies, though, still quite a thorn in my side. Alright. Anyway, if only I could get a little bit more health here and there. Something like there's a few different things, like on swapping you get healing for every enemy kill for like 1 second or something. Oh, come on, there's one enemy left. Where even? That would be quite good right now. Okay. Now I need to just thread this needle once more. Sure, I don't even hate that. In fact, well, actually, let's take a look. Chase and execute. It's like duel and miser. It's like, is chase and execute like even all that useful? Like, I don't even know. No, with the levels that I got right now, I don't really think that's going to be too much of a difference. Either way, it's just like this, you know, basically is an overall upgrade. I should also sell this to make sure that I get the money from it. Say that right now. And let's take a look at how this one goes. I'm going to be honest, don't have a whole lot of hope for it, but I'll try. Come on, at least get rid of those things ASAP. Damage ain't bad. It ain't too shabby, but I don't know if it's enough. Yeah, then I jumped right into that rather than dodging it like I was hoping to do. Oh, gotta stop getting hit by every single one of those enemies as they come in. Oh, I forgot as soon as she jumps back there, it goes right to doing the spewing. Wow, it's not until I put all the footage together that I realized there's nearly an hour left in this episode. I guess the runs in this game are actually pretty lengthy. Although this does also include the post-boss cutscenes and the endgame cutscenes. still, it didn't really feel like that as I was playing it. I don't know. Anyway, this taking place right after the Chimera fight. I'm using the ultimate form of the Skeleton Shield, which, as I was saying, you get a lot of tankiness out of, as well as the, I think, penultimate form of the Minotaur Skull, which is, it's all right. I would compare it to, I would say it's like the power version of the Werewolf Skull that I was using in the last run. It's just a very basic form of what you expect out of this build. Really, I was just taking it because there were no other very good power skulls coming up, so why not get something that at least works with what I'm trying to build towards? Besides, the tankiness from both these things is going to be very, very important, because as Skeletobius was explaining there are some gimmicks in this area. As you're staying around in each one of these places, you start to get a debuff on you that has you taking more damage. I think up to like double damage or so until you use a fountain that is randomly placed around each one of these places. Didn't quite get that at this time, so I ended up having that debuff on for most of my journey through the fortress here, which is really great. But hey, I mean, like I was saying, I got like a great defensiveness from the items, I got great defensiveness from my skulls, big burst damage from both my quintessence and swapping here. It was totally fine. Although, man, with any other build, it would be significantly rougher. As you can see, these enemies are starting to get difficult. They're fast. Like, you could see the archers are able to just, like, shoot out in huge areas. Each one of the spellcasters are hitting like 360 degrees around them. Like, even those spear guys were just like far, far more aggressive than any other enemy in this game up until this point. There's also like other weird little gimmicks where occasionally when enemies die, they'll like spawn a tentacle that whips at you, like the thorns all the way back in the very first area. It's rough, but having a lot of insurance in the form of like I was saying, the items, like the one that I have that prevents me from taking damage from the front every few seconds. You can see it right there. As well as just the temporary health. It's like I was able to be relatively safe the entire time. Also the samurai skull. That would have been pretty good with that last run. But you know, I was trying to get the legendary version of the prisoner skull, which doesn't exist. So I don't know. I don't think I've seen a skull that's less than legendary that couldn't be upgraded at least one more time. That seems unusual, or kind of unique to that one, if nothing else. So strange. I don't know. But as it is, at least I was able to show that off proper before the end of the series. I'm happy to see that, even though I wasn't able to get even to the fortress area with it alone. Yeah, you get a lot of burst damage. A lot of burst damage from that one skull that I've already forgotten the name of. Samurai? Was that what it was? And that was working out, and that would have worked out pretty well in the build that I was already using there. Oh, come on now. But yeah, you can see when I'm not using quintessence, when I'm not using swapping, it's like enemies take a little bit to take down. Quintessence, of course, is obviously a reference to Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, as you do. There's a lot of references in this game. Man, there's so many references in this game. And that is one amongst them. I mean, I would say that it's just like probably one of the better ones you can get for a power thing, because it scales off of it just gives you a lot of good stuff for physical damage. And there, it took a little while. I guess maybe you do also have the debuff get off of you when you go into the side areas. You'll start to see me getting a little bit of I don't know, mold around the edges of the screen, and it'll say stuff occasionally like taking X percent extra damage, and that's how you know things are not going great. Oh well, as you can see, just like even with that, it's still going just fine. Totally okay. I'm still, since I only have the penultimate form of the Minotaur skull, really trying to again get as much for bone shards as possible, so I can get that to the ultimate version too. Even if it's not that important, I don't know. I think at this point in time, I also didn't even have the ultimate version of that, so I wanted to at least see what it was. Why not? So close here anyway. All right, and it's like I'll say this again. Boy, this game does get really spammy with the enemies, which is good that like a lot of the builds are able to kind of compensate for that. But it does, I know, especially as I was first starting out this game, it just felt like my thumb was actually getting tired just mashing attack all the time. Thankfully, it's just like that's also, you know, using a lot of these speed skulls too, maybe a result of that. So hard to say if I kind of figured out exploding guys. Why did I keep putting so many exploding guys in here? It's like between the previous area and this one, and man, it's the samurai again. It's like finding the prisoner skull last time. Boy, I probably should have just used that fountain there, eh? Well, didn't even think about it. I told you, I forgot how this worked. Well, anyway, instead of fighting four different heroes this time, you get a boss version of them. And I think like the boss version of the cleric may be one of the better ones you can get, just because, yeah, not as impressive as a lot of the other ones. Though I have ultimately fought, I think, each one of the guys, except for maybe the ninja dude. I don't think I ever saw like an ultimate version of him, but the tank, the regular hero, the archer, yeah. They're all here, and they're all represented. It's like, I guess this is better than fighting four of them at once, but, oh boy. It is still about as rough as ever. Oh, come on. That's annoying, though. There we go. Thankfully, Unlimited Blade works still working out quite well for me. There's a lot of good stuff that you can get from the, you know, power and tank builds here. Stuff like the secondary skills giving you healing as you go into new areas, as well as just like lessened damage taken at certain health thresholds, all that sort of stuff. And yes, much like the normal version of these guys, they do get half health super buffs. Annoying, but like I said, at this point in time, probably manageable if you're able to get through the previous areas with relative ease. Even then, it's like there's a certain point where I'm just like, okay, come on. As I was saying before, they do still take a lot of damage. They're pretty tanky enemies, especially the tank guy. I mean, the ability to heal constantly is basically the exact same thing as tanking after all. So, yeah. And yes, the Unlimited Blade works does pierce, which is why I'm getting so much damage out of that right now. Alright, come on. I do like that the shield that you get for the shield skeleton is roughly the same size as your character himself. Kind of what I would expect. I've seen like a lot of the ultimate forms of most of the skulls here, but I think like the one that I probably would like to see other than the shield one would be the ultimate form of the bomb skeleton, because just what the hell even would that be? I guess a giant bomb. Ah, well, that's a super gimmicky skull too. Probably pretty powerful by endgame, but... Oh wait, it wasn't even the penultimate one. It was like the first one. Uh-huh. Never mind then. But yeah. Yeah, that one's another like gimmicky skull. Explodes. When you swap into it, just has a bomb. When the bomb explodes, it forces you to swap again. Potentially useful, but I kind of like being able to swap on command. But I'm sure like the damage you get out of that makes it entirely worthwhile to upgrade by the end there. And yes, having a whole bunch of little tiny holes sprinkled around here does mean that you can knock enemies into there, and you don't really have the ability to take them out too easily. It's a strategy. You'll only take a mild amount of damage and then just kind of pop right out of there otherwise, though. So it's not too bad, but it is, like, something to think about if you got a speed skull on. Alright. Last 4 guys there taken care of pretty trivially, so let's just get on with this already. Ooh. Ow. Speed again. I got speed again. Oh well, at least that gets me most of the way to getting the Minotaur skull. A lot of good legendary skulls out there, but if they're not really working with the build, I just don't think it's worth taking. Maybe it would be. I mean, I do think that certainly, probably with balanced skulls, that having 2 of those same thing, you know, hyper specializing is less necessary, but at the same time, I don't think I really got too much into the really specific, you know, tech that you can do in this game. Mostly, like I was saying, it's like the super tank build is just way more effective than I thought it was going to be by end game. Feels slow and clunky early game, just extremely powerful end game, and that's kind of where that came down to. Nope, can't push dudes if they got the shield on them. Speaking of dead cells again. Good stuff. Always a big fan. Oh, this is just so annoying because it's like, it just takes less damage than you'd think. Everything takes like a lot more damage to kill than you think it should. And the big guys here are like, man, terrible. Appear significantly less frequently than other areas in the game, but still, it's like when you see them, it's a problem. More so than they are in any other area. Demonomicon. Not bad, but, you know, I'm not really building at all for a... Not really building in any way for a magic run at this point in time. The sort of thing that I'm going for is obvious. These statues, on the other hand, very easy to figure out how they work, very annoying to actually deal with. You can just see that it's like I got, like I was saying, that black mold all around the screen right now. It's a lot of fun. Really, I mean, look, I knew that I was looking for some form of fountain. I just didn't know exactly what it looked like. I don't know. All right. Hey, also, like, first time seeing a shrine in quite a while. And recover health is actually legitimately probably one of the best ones that I could get right now. That and extra buffs, too. Pretty good. Okay, now come on. Thank God. Got that unlimited blade works. Would have been nice if I got that legendary quintessence in the last run, though. I don't even think I've ever seen that one before. Even though it was more of like a power skull or at the very least physical damage type of thing, would have at least probably done quite a bit of damage when I activated it. Because that, up until this point, has kind of been how it's going. Active items and swapping. So many projectiles around here. Can even buff themselves. Don't want to underestimate those guys. I don't even think they appear until you beat the boss level hero. So that's how you know they're kind of a big deal. Man, really? 3 times? Look, I like it, and I would like to use it, but like, come on. All right. Needless to say, yeah. Should have just switched out the upper left item there. I think it's like every 3 enemies you kill, you get a heal. You get 1 HP heal, which makes a lot more sense when enemies aren't nearly as powerful, as large and in charge. And also more populous. Like, certainly there's still a lot of enemies here, but not as many as some of the previous areas. Yeah, demolition, as you can see, is kind of the thing that I was looking at there, and I'm like, okay, sure. March would have been good, but I just had nothing else to work with that. Like 6 levels of that double your physical damage. Yeah. Pretty alright. Alright. Till that point, though, I mean, it's like, yeah, that one extra heal that you get for... Yeah, the shark tooth or whatever it's called is really more about, like, the secondary skills that you get on there. Because I'm tanky, not that tanky that, like, 1 HP is going to matter too much most of the time. It's not enough. I thought they went until they went off screen. Well, whatever. And it's just this guy. Who does nothing. And is now dead. Yeah, one of the things you can also notice when I'm going through this part of the game is that you really do start to get a lot more of the meta currency, the dark quartz. It's like really just an absolutely huge difference. You might look at it and be like, man, you know, getting 4,000 or something to level up some of the end meta skills seems like a lot. It's not so much if you can at least get to this part of the game. You're like one of those for each one of those runs. But then again, if it's taking like an hour and a half to get here each time, probably more like an hour and take out the cutscenes. Jeez, it's a lot. Every single time I use any skill with this guy, I'm getting extra temporary health. So even if it's slow, it's safe. Here we go. The first time that I finally recognize what a fountain looks like. I mean, I guess it just speaks to how powerful this build is, isn't it? Doesn't it? When I'm taking double damage and still totally fine. Well, totally fine. Mostly fine. Big ol' cutscene time. Goddess descended. It was a big, huge monster, and the only person that was around to even see it was crushed by it and did a goofy Wilhelm scream. Yes, as it turns out, that was a Wilhelm scream, not the Howie scream. Like I'm confusing my 2 stock sound effects. Still, it's so goofy to hear that. I mean, like I said before. You know, I've heard a lot of stock sound effects. For example, every single video game has the exact same pot-breaking sound effect. Like, every one. I don't think I've ever heard one that doesn't sound... You know the one I'm talking about, too. They all sound the exact same. But, yeah, it's like... That one's more of, like, ancient cinema meme type of sound effect rather than like intentionally stock. Well, anyway, yeah, Howie Scream is a different one. That's the one that goes like, yeah. You've heard it before. Trust me, you can go look it up on YouTube. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about immediately. It's like learning about the Amen break. Oh yes, also two-phase battle once again. Kind of obvious how this one's working. Destroy the big tower things. Actually a pretty easy phase, all things considered. I'm just like, it's literally the first time I've seen it, so I'm just like, attack a lot and hope for the best, which, to be fair, is working. All right, and then we go full. I was gonna say Dracula, but I guess almost more. I mean, in some ways, especially this fight, bring back the old Hollow Knight comparisons. Somewhat similar to Umu, I guess. Certainly, some of these attacks are extremely similar there. But yeah, floating, teleporting around. Yeah, that one, for example. Your penultimate boss of the game. Once again, borrowing the Hollow Knight comparisons. I told you this was just another stealth way to make me play that game again. Oh, the slam down does kind of do me dirty a few times here and there when I'm trying to go for the... And that one's just Marks. That's like Marks from Kirby Superstar of all things. Which, I mean, I guess, yeah, like, big laser doesn't necessarily mean that. It's just, everything about that reminds me of that. Alright, Unlimited Blade works, though. Should have taken care of that guy pretty quickly. What are these characters, by the way? Incredibly goofy looking. Alright, slow moving, etc. And then, hey, that's a classic move. Yeah, whatever. I still have the Death Defiance at this point, and I was told, yeah, told you, Umu. Yeah, I still have the Death Defiance at this point, and just totally relying on that, if I'm being honest with you. A bit of Radiance thrown in there too, perhaps. Maybe a little bit. Just an ounce. Trace amounts of Moth God. There we are. Well, that was... Sure. No, I got rid of this last time. I'm not going to take it now. Enjoy cutscene.
밝은 달이 떠있던 밤이었습니다. 소녀는 계속해서 달렸어요. 그 뒤를 검은 형체가 쫓았죠. 아픈 다리로 열심히 도망쳐봤지만 추격자는 결국 소년을 따라잡았어요. 소년은 결국 지쳐 쓰러졌고 그런 소년의 위에 그림자가 드리워졌어요. 그리고 저는 그 소년의 마지막을 지켜보려 했어요. 불쌍한 것. 인간들의 일에 섣불리 관여할 수 없는 절 용서하시길. 여기서 제가 끼어들면 마왕성의 입장이 굉장히 난처해질 거예요. 저는 소년을 한참 바라보다 그를 공격한 인간을 확인하려 했어요. 그때 갑자기 소년을 공격한 인간이 공중에 매달렸어요. 마왕님이었어요. 마왕님은 슬픈 얼굴로 이게 무슨 짓이냐 물었어요. 말투는 굉장히 침착했지만 그의 슬픔이 느껴졌답니다. 마왕님을 발견한 인간은 공중에서 흉측한 모습으로 폭주하기 시작했고 마왕님을 공격하려 했어요. 그러나 인간은 마지막 순간에 힘을 주체하지 못하고 폭발해버렸죠. 마왕님은 돌아오지 않는 저를 찾으러 오셨던 것 같아요. 좋지 못한 타이밍이었죠. 그런데 어째서 저 흉측한 인간은 마왕님에게 반응한 걸까요? 마왕님은 빠르게 달려가 소년의 상태를 확인하려 했어요. 상처가 굉장히 심해 보였지만 살아있다 하셨죠. 저는 마법의 힘으로 소년을 치료해보려고 했습니다. 집중이 잘 되지 않았어요. 너무 많은 일들이 동시에 일어났거든요. 인간들이 이곳을 찾아오기 전에 어서 떠나야 하는데. 그 순간 그가 등장했어요. 우린 잔뜩 긴장한 상태로 물러났죠. 그는 소년을 끌어안고 우리를 향해 강한 분노를 표출했어요. 슬픔과 분노가 겹쳐진 그의 압도적인 힘에 주변이 녹아내릴 것 같았죠. 우린 오해를 풀고 싶었지만 분노한 용사에게는 말이 통하지 않았어요. 그때 알았어요. 왜 소년이 용사가 되려 하는지, 왜 소년은 아버지에게 자랑스러운 아들이 되고 싶어 했는지, 왜 용사가 모욕을 당했을 때 소년이 분노했는지, 어째서 미리 깨닫지 못했을까요? 마왕님은 정말 모르고 계셨을까요? 소년은 용사의 하나뿐인 아들이었답니다.
Well, I think we all saw that one coming. It was a fairly obvious place for the story to go. Anyway, final area. And I do get the chance to upgrade my other skull to legendary immediately, which of course I'm going to do. I spent a long time grinding out those bone shards. Well, those are some broad shoulders. Minotaurus 3. I mean, how else was it going to go? Also, the weapon has gotten even more basic since last time. The first Minotaur had like a somewhat fancy spiked mace. The second one just had like a tree branch, and this one has a log. What a weird way for the progression of that particular skull to go. Anyway, the final area here is, I mean, it's a bit different from the other areas. You don't get rewards after going through each of these places. These are the only enemies you fight. They're all very slow, basic statue guys. I don't even think they do a whole lot of damage, and despite having shields, I don't even think they use them. It seems like this is really more to just prep you up for the final fight rather than be any sort of challenge. As you can see, you get some pretty good items and everything in here too in the final area. It makes sense because there are some skills that will become more powerful after killing enemies. There are things like the shark tooth that allows you to heal up after killing X amount of enemies. Going through areas will have you get some money or health back depending on what sort of items, skills, whatever you have. It's just all to prepare you. So I guess I can kind of see. It does make me wonder because there's still like a lot of, pretty nice set pieces around here. If they plan for this to be a little bit more, or if this really was just supposed to be like, hey, relax, you went through the rest of the game. It's cool. Certainly the entire marble aesthetic reminds me a lot of Brain Lord's final area, the Platinum Shrine, in its style. It was my favorite place in that game. So I do quite like this. Even though it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of running through this. Yeah, even though it is fully upgraded, it is just kind of like, hey, it does more damage. I was saying that the Minotaur is a very basic type of skull. Even though it's doing exactly what I need it to, it's not really doing too much more than that. And we got the final boss, the first hero, because, who else would it be? Though they did imply in that last cutscene, and they'll apply a little bit more in the ending, that there is maybe other people behind the events that occurred, aside from the like a alchemist guy and the mustachioed Dr. Eggman looking dude from the second boss. Sort of seems like they might be saving that for a DLC though. And yes, I have gotten significantly stronger. Did you see the giant shield? You're not going to get through that. Look how big it is. Right, yeah. He doesn't use the Dark Force. That does not mean that he doesn't have a second phase, though. Trust me on that one. All right, so I had no idea how this guy was attacking. I mean, it's actually very similar to how, like, the rookie hero has, like, the 3-hit combo and everything like that with the sword. And, like, the slam, I think he also has some form of, you know, like, other explosions. But also, as you saw in the very beginning of the game, he can throw down, like, big projectiles, too, which does also make a pretty big difference on top of everything else. Yeah. Still, though, needless to say, this is only part 1. Fast slashing, but hey. Got a lot of... And that is just a Dracula attack, but, you know. Fast slashing, but it's just like, hey, I got a lot of tankiness here. And, you know, healing up in that last area did help quite a bit. Also tried to use the charge attack from using the shield for once. I don't know. That is supposed to be like a thing where it's like you can charge up the shield to do extra damage, and like one of my skills makes it so it goes way faster. It's not really the thing I'm mostly focused on when it came to like a gimmickry behind that one. Just sort of a helpful other thing. Not quite halfway down in health, but he does have the super attacks in that way. And damn, does that hit a lot. You know, like the other things when you're charging up that shield, after leveling it up a little bit, it also does block stuff from the front, which I forgot about. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's working out just fine anyway. Same sort of deal. But that's okay. Should just be switching back and forth rapidly. That's probably the best way to... Hey, he's even got the big slash. Probably the best way to do that. Alright, here we go. And yes, instead of being purple, it's golden. Because it's the opposite of the Dark Quartz. You get it? You get the shtick? And yeah, here I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna like keep doing the big attacks. It's not working super great, I'll just say right now. Supposed to kind of pay attention to where all the swords are, the ethereal swords, and then use them there. Gives you some decent amount of time to attack, though, after these phases. There's also some, somewhat unique attacks here, too, that are... Stuff like that is kind of rough. And like this one, which actually makes the arena a lot smaller for you to deal with. And that's where I'm just like, this isn't going too hot. Still, like I said, you do get some ample time to attack here after each one of the, I guess, like, volleys of attacks, though. Because he's got that anime cough disease. You know how it goes. Ah, jeez. Okay, and then it goes back again. Gotcha. And there's the explosion from the rookie hero. It's significantly more impressive. Clever how it's just like, yep, first hero really... I mean, it's like the hero abilities are pretty similar each time. Mm-hmm. Hey, I said I had a successful run. I didn't say this was the successful run. No, but you know it only shows the cutscenes the first time, so I just decided it's like, you know what? I'll piece these things together. So yeah, this time though, I do still have the well, first off, I have even better items. I have the Berserker Skull that's fully upgraded here, and I also have the Death Defiance already. It's kind of in store for when I'm going to need to use that, as you do. At least this time I have a little bit better idea of what I'm actually doing. And Berserker Skull especially, it's just like, compared to the Minotaur Skull, has a lot more fun stuff with it. It's got like this sacrifice a little bit of health to get just huge attack speed increase, which is pretty great. Fortunately, it does go away if I do switch out of it, but it's like it still gives me a lot of extra damage I can do just alone. Yeah, somebody was saying earlier in one of the earlier episodes, one of the 2 earlier episodes, it's like they were disappointed that I was selling the Berserker Skull, and it's like, yeah, I get it. It's pretty good. You're right. I shouldn't have done that. To be fair, I was still building a speed build at that time, though. And it takes health, but it only takes a percentage of your remaining health, something like 10%. So if you're already kind of low, it's not that much. Especially if you're already kind of relying on a lot of temporary health as it is. Good. And I'm just like, I'm so close. I'm just going to finish it up here. And there we go. End of the game. So I am just going to call it and let the rest of the cutscenes play out.
눈을 떴을 때는 일주일은 지난 것 같았어요. 용사의 일격은 버틸 수가 없었나 봐요. 쓰러진 저를 마왕님이 데려오신 것 같아요. 문 밖을 나서자 분주했습니다. 인간들이 선전포고를 했기 때문이었죠. 마왕성 간부들이 한 곳에 모여 대책회의를 시작했습니다. 간부들이 몇 가지 작전을 제안했지만 마왕님은 깊은 생각에 잠긴 듯 아무 말도 하지 않았어요. 그날의 일을 담아둔 것처럼. 저 또한 깊은 생각에 빠졌습니다. 그들은 꼭 목격자인 소년을 죽여야 했을까요? 어째서 그렇게 적절한 때에 초대 용사가 등장했을까요? 평화 협정을 맺은 지 얼마 되지 않아 기다렸다는 듯이 이렇게 선전포고를 하다니. 어떻게 된 걸까요? 누구의 생각일까요? 그때 먼 발치에서 작은 스켈레톤이 걸어오기 시작했어요. 고장난 듯 움직이는 걸 보아하니 스켈레톤이 된 지 얼마 되지 않아 보였습니다. 그렇지만 느껴졌어요. 그 소년이었어요. 아, 불쌍한 소년. 인간의 삶은 끝이 났나 봐요. 다들 말하곤 하죠. 스켈레톤이 되는 사람들은 삶에 강한 의지가 있었으나 이루지 못한 자들이라고. 용사가 되겠다더니. 하모니아의 많은 모험가들은 마왕성에 도전하는 것을 인생의 목표로 삼는 데죠. 소녀는 그 어떤 모험가들도 이루기 힘든 꿈인 마왕성 도달에 결국 성공했어요. 죽어서 말이죠. 마왕님은 스켈레톤에게 조심스레 다가갔어요. 추워 보였는지 자신의 망토를 덮어주었죠. 그리고 그의 머리에 손을 얹었어요. 친구가 새로운 삶을 살아갈 수 있도록 조금 도와주신 것 같았죠. 이름도 지어주셨어요. 평범한 스켈레톤식 장명법이었죠. 스컬. 이 다음은 여러분들이 아시는 대로입니다. 초대 용사는 모두의 예상을 깨고 마왕성 최상층을 폭격했습니다. 칼레온 군대는 마왕군 강부들을 납치해 실험 대상으로 삼으려 하고 지휘부를 잃은 마왕군을 학살했어요. 그러나 스컬이 등장했죠. 잔혹한 인간들을 처리하고 그들이 여신이라 착각한 괴물을 물리치고 마왕을 구한 영웅이 되었어요. 어리석고 무자비한 칼레온 군대는 해체되었고 무자비한 실험 또한 중지되었답니다. 또한 마왕님은 더 이상 마족과 칼레온 사이의 전쟁은 없을 거라 선언했습니다. 결국 스컬은 하모니아 대륙에 평화를 가져왔죠. 초대 용사도 이룩하지 못한 위대한 일을 작은 스켈레톤이 해냈답니다. 마왕님이 봤던 소년의 미래는 이것이었을까요? 내막을 모르는 어리석은 칼레온의 모험가들에게 스컬의 이야기는 무시무시하게 전달되었죠. 새로운 마왕의 탄생. 수많은 모험가들의 목을 치고 구국의 영웅을 죽인 잔악무도한 영웅 학살자. 이로 인해 후에 수많은 모험가 파티가 그의 목을 노리고 도전하겠죠. 또한 그를 비극적인 운명으로 몰아넣은 자를 찾아내야 할 거예요. 불쌍한 스컬. 괜찮을 거예요. 그는 조금 특별한 스컬이니까요.